Please welcome Commissioner Nikki Fried.
Oh, what a beautiful sunset. Good evening, St. Pete. I am Nikki Fried, your Florida Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services, and your only statewide elected Democrat. Now, St. Pete, did you have an opportunity to watch ABC last night? Were you able to see what a president looks like? A working class guy from Scranton, PA, who stayed well after the cameras were turned off, late at the evening to answer every single question from the people that are in the audience. I've got a small story to tell you about Joe Biden, a personal story. There's unfortunately somebody inside of my department who is experiencing stage 4 cancer. We had Joe call her and had a heart-filled conversation about life, about its promises. Now, I saw Joe about 2 weeks ago. The first thing out of his mouth, how is our friend? That is who Joe Biden is. And that is why we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can to get him elected. And Florida, we have made a lot of sacrifices since March. 16,000 lives have been lost. Not able to see our loved ones, scared to put our children back into school. Millions have lost their jobs, health care. Our small businesses are struggling, some having to close from no fault of their own. But we have hope. We've got an opportunity to change and to turn the page of this horrific chapter of American history. Joe Biden has a real plan to beat COVID-19, which is the only way that we are going to get our economy back on page and to get life back as normal. Joe has a real plan to strengthen the Affordable Care Act, while Donald Trump is doing everything he can to tear it down in the middle of a pandemic. Joe has a plan to not only get relief for our working families and small businesses so they can weather this crisis. He knows that at this time and at this moment, to remain and to get back our economy where everybody has a seat at the table and everybody knows that a deal can work for them. Joe has a plan to build back better. When Donald Trump thinks of climate change, he thinks of the word hoax. When Joe Biden thinks of climate change, he thinks about jobs. Jobs and Joe come synonymous. Joe will create millions of good-paying jobs by investing in clean energy and our future. Isn't it about time that the Sunshine State lives up to our name? We can build back better. Florida, we can do it. But we need you. We need every single one of you, all of your friends, all of your family members, your neighbors. This is a time of our lives, and this election is one of a generation. Every vote matters. We know that we can deliver, Florida. You know, only 2 years ago, I was elected as your commissioner by only 6,753 votes out of over 8.1 million cast. I won by less than 1%. So I know firsthand that every vote matters, and every vote will count in this election. Now, we know in-person voting starts this Monday, and vote by mail has already begun. More than 2 million Floridians have already voted by mail. And guess what? More than 1 million of those are Democrats. Florida, today is election day. The election is happening and being decided right here, right now, today. And we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can. This is the moment. This is our chance. We have 18 days to save our democracy. You don't want to wake up the next day after election wishing that you had done more. We can't get comfortable or complacent. Now, I want to introduce you to another fierce fighter, fierce woman. Now, I've had the opportunity to be backstage with her for the last hour, and I can tell you she is dynamic. Gwendolyn Reese certainly has made a difference, not only in our state, but in our country. Gwendolyn Reese's drive for justice began in childhood and spurred a lifetime of unstoppable activism. With COVID, she only doubled her efforts, continuing to put in the work from her efforts with the Black Health Equality Alliance, addressing inequalities in birth outcomes and maternal and child health, to working with Mayor Kreisman and the Bloomberg Harvard City Initiative to guide community-led redevelopment of the Tropicana Field site, to her multiple projects with the African American Heritage Trail and the St. Petersburg Museum of History. St. Petersburg, it is my honor to introduce a true trailblazer to this community, Miss Gwendolyn Reese.
Hello, St. Petersburg. My name is Gwendolyn Reese, and I was born and raised right here in South St. Pete. I'm a mother to 2 wonderful children, and I have 2 fantastic grandsons. I love this city. I absolutely love this community. And I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. You know, when I was younger, all I could think about was leaving. Now, you need to understand that I grew up during the Jim Crow era. But at some point, as a young person, I decided I wanted to make a change right here in the community where I grew up. And St. Petersburg, we have come so far. I'm proud of the progress this city has made. There's more work to do, but our leaders are willing to listen. They care, and they want to do what's right. That's a quality we need in our next president. My life's work has been fighting for racial and social justice. Whether it was founding the Institute for Social Justice at the YWCA of Tampa Bay, or leading the African American Heritage Association of St. Petersburg, or helping found the new Black Health Equity Alliance, my life's work has been rooted in pushing for change and equity right here in our community. historian in the African tradition of griot. So I know the stories and the richness of this community. I know it well. I know the kind of work it took us to get here to this point. And I know exactly what is at stake in this election. Make no mistake, St. Petersburg, our democracy is on the ballot. Health care is on the ballot. Affordable housing, racial injustice, and protecting our very right to vote. All of this and more is on the ballot. And these issues that matter so much to our community are all on the ballot right now. Every day is election day through November 3rd here in Florida. I, along with my 89-year-old mother and my 92-year-old father, we have already voted by mail for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Because we cannot wait. All the progress that we have made as a nation is at stake over these next 18 days, Florida. But Joe and Jill Biden give me hope. Now more than ever, with this poorly handled pandemic taking such a devastating toll on our community, we need decisive and compassionate leadership. That's Joe Biden. Joe cares. He's willing to listen. And he has a real plan to beat the virus and build back better. We need the Bidens in that White House, St. Pete. So, I want you to listen very closely to our next speaker. I want you to really hear everything she has to say, because we've got to win this. St. Petersburg, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you a woman who makes the case every day for how love can bring a country together. A lifelong teacher, a woman who will always fight for our kids and our families. Our next First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden.
That sunset was beautiful. You guys know how to do it right. Thank you. Thank you, Gwendolyn. As a historian, you know more than most what is at stake at this election. And you've worked for justice and civil rights, and you've seen the progress we've made. And you know that our fight is far from over. So thank you for your dedication and your support. And Commissioner Freed and Congressman Chris, thank you for being with us as well. Your influence and accomplishments here in Florida are going to help us swing this state blue. Mayor Chrisman, thank you for welcoming us to St. Petersburg. And under your leadership, it has become Florida's best managed city, and we are proud to have you on our team. We have an incredible group of elected officials here today, so I want to thank all of you for joining us. So, St. Petersburg, how are you feeling? Are you ready to get to work? You know, a few weeks ago, I spoke to a public school counselor who told me, Jill, the two most important roles in my life are being a school counselor and being a mom. And right now, I feel like I'm failing at both. Parents want to have the answers for our kids. But over these last 4 years, so many parents have told me that they have more questions than answers. They ask me things like, how do I keep my family safe from this pandemic? What if a shooting happens at my kid's school? What if I lose my job? And how do I tell my kids to be kind when our leaders don't live up to that same standard? And it's not just parents. All of us feel it. The chaos of this moment, the magnitude of loss that surrounds us, the little things that we never thought we'd lose, like hugging our friends or smiling at strangers without a mask. Still, we keep going, don't we? What else can we do? You know, Joe knows that feeling well. 4 days after our son Bo's funeral, I watched Joe shave and put on his suit. I saw him steel himself in the mirror, take a breath, put his shoulders back, and walk out into a world empty of our son. He went back to work as your vice president. That's just who he is. There are times when I couldn't even imagine how he did it, how he put one foot in front of the other again and again. But I've understood why he did it. He did it for the daughter who pays for her mom's breast cancer screening and misses work to drive her to the clinic. He did it for the community college student who faced homelessness but finds the grit to finish her degree. He did it for the little boy whose mom is serving as a Marine in Iraq, who puts on a brave face in their video call and doesn't complain when the only thing he wants for his birthday is to be with her. Over these years, Joe has faced unimaginable tragedies, but through it all, raising our sons and our daughter Ashley, he learned how to heal a broken family. It's the same way that you heal a nation, with love and understanding, with small acts of kindness, with bravery, with unwavering hope. His purpose has always driven him forward. His strength of will is unstoppable, and his faith is unshakable, because it's not in politicians or political parties or even himself. It's in the providence of God. His faith is in you, in us. And I promise you, Joe Biden will be a president for all Americans. And Joe has a plan to end this pandemic, to rebuild, to reimagine a future that's better than ever. And that means opening up our schools and childcare programs safely so that parents can go back to work. It means protecting pre-existing conditions and making prescriptions affordable for everyone. And it means creating millions of jobs. But he can't do it without you. Right now, there are so many who want to tell us that our nation is hopelessly divided, that our differences are irreconcilable, that our communities are fractured beyond repair. And beneath that is another message. Your voice can't fix it. Your vote doesn't matter. But that's not who we are. Is it St. Petersburg? Democrat and Republican, rural and urban, north to south, coast to coast, we are coming together, and we are finding that our differences are precious and that our similarities are infinite. We don't agree on everything. We don't have to. We can still love and respect one another, right? Cynics play to our fears. They tell us that we can't make a difference because they don't want us to try. They know that together, our voices are more powerful than they ever could be. We have to show them that power. We have to show them that we're not going to sit by and watch what happens. We're going to decide what happens. So far, we've had a ton of enthusiasm for vote by mail here in Florida. In fact, over 1 million Democrats have voted, but we have to keep on pushing. Early voting starts here on Monday. So tell me, are you ready to vote? Let's do it today. Don't wait. And then get involved. I know you're busy. I know you are stretched so thin. But this election is too important not to do every single thing we can. There are no do-overs. We have to believe that our communities are stronger than the challenges we face, because they are. We have to believe that our votes matter, because they do. We have to show up right now, put our shoulders back, and work like we have never worked before. One vote could be the difference between winning and losing a precinct. One precinct could win a state. And one state, this state of Florida, could decide our future for generations to come. Will you be that one vote? Will you join this movement? Will you show the world that our nation still believes in justice and compassion and unity and leadership? So here it comes. Will you stand with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? I love your enthusiasm, because when you do, I know that we are going to win. So I want to thank you for all that you do for your communities. Thank you for showing up right now when it matters the most. And thank you, St. Petersburg, for your faith in an idea that's bigger than any one of us. And that is, we will build a better nation, St. Petersburg, because we're going to do this together. Thank you, Florida. Thank you.